Just before we launch InfoPath 2007 and explore the user interface in this chapter, let's get better acquainted with the application itself. Exactly what is InfoPath 2007? Well, a simple definition is it's an information gathering program. It's also part of the Microsoft Office 2007 system. So if you already happen to have Microsoft Office Ultimate 2007 or you plan on upgrading to that suite of applications, you'd be glad to know you have InfoPath as well as some other useful applications that tie in nicely with InfoPath, such as Microsoft Groove, for example. Now, what is the best way these days for gathering information? Well, typically it's designing and creating electronic forms and also making it easy to fill out those forms. InfoPath lets you do both. And because it's XML-based, gathering information and then sharing it and reusing it is also extremely easy to do. Since we're designing and using electronic forms in InfoPath, we can extend our reach to those inside and outside the organization because we can create email forms that can simply be sent as an email. We can create forms that will work on any web browser or even forms that can be filled out on a mobile device. Not only is an InfoPath form efficient, it also ensures the information you gather is reliable and accurate. Now, this can be accomplished by using things like form controls, pre-populated fields, real-time validation, and by connecting to existing data sources. All this means the quality of the data you collect is going to be improved while helping to reduce redundant data entry. So let's talk about what's new in InfoPath 2007. There's some really nice new features that didn't exist in the previous version, which was InfoPath 2003. For example, you don't need to have InfoPath installed on your computer just to fill out a form. With InfoPath 2003, you needed the application on your computer just to fill out an InfoPath form. That's not so anymore. You can create and send templates as email messages in Outlook. We talked about that. Also, if you've got InfoPath form services, you can create web-based forms and forms that can be used on those mobile devices we were talking about. Also new to version 2007 is the ability to import and export forms. If you've already created forms in Word or Excel, you don't need to redo those forms. Just bring them into InfoPath and work on them there. Importing is very easy. So is exporting forms if you've got the add-ins to export to PDF, portable document format, or the XML format known as XPS. You do need those add-ins. You're prompted to do that when you go to export. It's all very easy to do, but just another nice new feature. Also, there's more views now in version 2007, such as the read-only view to prevent manipulation of content. For example, you might just want people to view the data like a report. There's printed views that let you choose which views of a form can be printed and in what order. And then there's targeted views as well, and they can be created for different environments. For example, you could create one view for those filling out forms in InfoPath, another for those filling out forms in a web browser. Also new in version 2007, new and improved controls. Let's talk about combo boxes. Now you can not just select from a list, but you can add to that list using a combo box. There's the multiple selection list box as well that we're going to be looking at later. Lets you select more than one item from the list. Horizontal regions and repeating tables allows you to resize areas when the form is resized, so it all happens automatically. You can have two areas side by side. Expand or shrink down the form, they expand and shrink with the form. And with the horizontal repeating tables, you're going to be able to allow users to add more than one column when they're filling out a form. That's a nice feature. You can also create your own reusable form parts now to keep the look and the behavior of a group of forms consistent. These are called custom form parts. There's also the design checker. The design checker task pane detects potential design issues that may be present in a template that you're designing, and it gives you detailed explanations before you have to go ahead and save and publish your form. And there's a whole lot more in 2007, like more sample forms to choose from. There's better integration with SharePoint, better offline options for when you can't be connected. There's the information rights management support that's part of 2007 now to help you keep sensitive data protected, and more options for printing and previewing forms as well. You'll see lots of these new features as we move through the chapters and the movies in this title. First part of this title will focus on the creation of the forms, beginning with the basics and then getting more advanced as we move on. Once we're totally comfortable with designing our forms, we'll explore the other side of using electronic forms, and that's the various ways we can collect and store that data. We'll talk about connecting to servers, including SharePoint integration. We can also, of course, turn our forms into email messages to gather information. We'll be doing that. And we'll explore how we can make use of the web for collecting data from outside the organization. That's all coming up. And in the next lesson, we launch the application.